It's Tuesday, and that means it's No Filter Tuesday. So I start off like this every time, I know, but I love these wonderful people that I get to speak to. They're just truly amazing. And wow, today's guest is a wow. She is a Grammy-nominated singer. Yes, she is indeed. But what you did not know is that she will be an Oscar-winning actress. I have no words to say except genius. I have been privileged that I was able to witness and see her movie. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Andra Day. Miss Day, what are the odds?
That's actually where it came from. I was such a big Billie Holiday fan since I was like 11 years old. And so when I just basically cut my name in half because it's Cassandra. So I cut it in half and then I took Day as the last name because I loved the relationship between her and her trumpet player, Lester Young. So I took, that's where Andra Day came from. Yeah.
So really, Billie Holiday has been in your psyche for a very long time.
Yeah, she has. She has.
I mean, we're just jumping right in here because I saw your film. Lee Daniels is a family member.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to tell you something. I hope you don't mind. I hope Lee won't mind.
Mm-hmm.
When Lee showed me your screen test, I was like, that's your Billie Holiday.
Oh my!
He needs me to say anything because he knows what he knows.
I love that.
I was like, you don't need to look any further. That's her.
I'm just gonna add that. I'm gonna add that to my resume. Like, oh yeah, no, it's Naomi Campbell helped me.
No, there was no. It was just like so honest and raw and blew you away. Just your screen test, and I mean, I have to see in that. Will never do a screen test a day in my life because that was the strongest, most profound screen test I think I ever saw.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I have to really give a ton of credit to Lee. Well, because, you know, even the fact that he took a chance and said, let me try this with her, because both him and I were like, no. I was like, I don't think I can do this. He was like, I don't think I can do this. But Tasha really got me ready. He introduced me to Tasha Smith, who was my acting coach.
Sister.
Yeah, and I was just saying, that's damn.
Of course we love you, Brother Lee. That conditioning, but we gotta. I mean,
Smith is a force. She's really a force, and she, from the audition point, she just wouldn't let. I mean, she wouldn't let me. She just wouldn't let me falter. And I said, there's very few people you meet in life that want you to win or be as successful as you yourself want to be, maybe even more so. So she's really, you already know, that's our kinfolk. She is a special, special person.
She's a special, special, special human being. And we're really blessed to know her and have her in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
She will get you to do things you never thought you could. You're absolutely right. When did you first meet Lee?
Mm-hmm.
And how did this okay, you said you both were like, no, no, no. But how did you even get to the no, no, no?
So I think
to be yes.
Yeah. So it was a fierce no, I think, from the beginning, because we were actually forced upon each other by our managers. So I wanted to meet him just because I was like, okay, well, it's Lee Daniels. He's a phenomenal filmmaker. And when I want to make films, he would just be a great person to know. And just I love his work. And so,
he's phenomenal with women.
Yes, exactly.
That record with women from Halle.
Yep.
Precious.
Nicole
Gabrielle Sidibe. Ellen Mirren.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're there. Monique.
Mm-hmm. And that's like one of the things I was curious too, like, how does he pull these performances out of people too? Because I was telling him, I said, even Nicole, Monique, Gabby Sidibe, their performances speak for themselves, but Nicole Kidman's performance in Paperboy was one of my favorite I had ever seen from her. She was so different, and so we met. Our managers had us meet. I didn't want to do it because I was terrified. Honestly, I was just like, I'm not an actress. And the last thing I want to do is is destroy the legacy of my biggest musical icon, you know? And so also Lady Sings the Blues was so beautiful, so powerful. I love Diana's performance. I love Audra McDonald on Broadway, you know? So it's just like, what am I going to contribute to this, especially as a non-actor? And I respect the craft of acting. But we met, and it was funny because he felt the exact same way. He was like, I don't want to hire her. Stop forcing me to do, you know, stop telling me what to do. So, but we met and we just connected. We connected, first of all, both of us thought neither of us should be there at that meeting. So we connected there first. Secondly, it was just his love for Billie and his need to authentically tell her story and to tell the story about the early war on drugs, you know, that we needed. Black people and society at large need that revelation. And so we connected there. We even talked about just our insecurities as people. We shared similar ones because him and I are actually born a day apart. So my birthday is December 3rd.
Born the 24th or 26th?
Yeah. So, no, I'm sorry. Mine is the 30th. Right. So we're a few days apart. Yeah. So we're both like
December babies.
Yeah. Same area Capricorn. So we just talked about insecurities and just how, you know, just the wanting things to be perfect and wanting them to be authentic. And then finding out from him that the script was not a remake of Lady Sings the Blues, but it was actually finally tell the story about how the government went after her, how Harry J. Anslinger and the FBI and the Federal Bureau of Narcotics really targeted her to her death, you know, for singing Strange Fruit. And
we needed this to hear this, and we needed this now.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what I think it will be. What I think about is that it will be a revelation for people to know that why was this story kept under wraps? Because it was kept under wraps. It wasn't incidental. Yeah. And so I think that that was really a big
there's a few political reasons I can think of.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God.
But you know what's so crazy? This is a question I have for you, actually. I might as well bring it up now. It's like, what Billie Holiday went through then.
Yeah.
What do you think of today where we are? I mean, was it in vain? We want to say that she didn't go through all of that for it to be in vain. That there's going to be some changes. Yeah.
And I think, and it's so funny too, even answering this question, because I never want to just like shoot out any answer. You know, I think there's parts of it that she didn't do in vain, because we did eventually get the civil rights movement, you know, because she was doing all this pre-civil rights movement, and it was her singing Strange Fruit, because that's the part of the narrative that's been cut off, is it was the death of Emmett Till, but it was also Billie Holiday singing Strange Fruit in defiance of the government that reinvigorated the civil rights movement. And she's the godmother of civil rights. And so, and I think there's a part of that she would have been really proud of and would have been, and would have been a part of had she survived, you know, but her legacy did. I do think there will be things that she sees today that she would be, how could this still be happening? You know, how could this, or I'll put it like this, that she would see and say, oh, their plan worked. You know what I mean? Because that's what I think when people look and they go, well, you know, you have the freedom to do this and you have the freedom. I'm like, yeah, but oppression is a very tricky, sticky thing. J. Edgar Hoover was a very tricky person. It was the whole design is for it to be running in the background so that people don't really know what's happening and they don't really know it exists.
But even to go to the artistic world, to stop someone from having freedom of expression of their art, of voice, sing with their instrument, completely nuts.
Yep.
And how much of a control freak. I mean, we've seen how many different movies Leo portrayed him. I mean, we've seen that he kind of had some kind of paranoia and but still.
Yeah.
Why did you need to go that far? But then look at it. It's like Bob Marley, Fela Kuti, Billie Holiday.
Absolutely.
They seem to want to cut them off from giving us their passion and their beautiful, gifted instrument. Why?
And I think you hit it on the head. And that's the question. And that's the question that I desire for people to ask when they see this movie is, he understood how powerful art was. And, you know, I think that people separate him from that. But the Federal Bureau of Narcotics, Harry J. Anslinger, just like J. Edgar Hoover in the FBI, they understood the power of art. They also understood the power of leadership, and artistic leadership is some of the most potent and some of the most powerful. You know, there was a band that I'm a huge fan of, Tinari Wen from Mali, and they really helped to like liberate their country with their music, you know. And so, and we saw, you know, what happened in the 60s with Marvin Gaye, and with all of the music that came out, they understood the power of a representation, which is something we talk about now, right? The buzzword, but they understood the power of representation, the power of, now, unfortunately, it was how do we destroy and how do we dismantle and how do we
dismantle,
you know, and that's
divide.
It was systematic.
Destroy,
it was
dismantle, and divide, the 3 Ds.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm gonna actually like write that down too, because that is really the truth.
So I was told on set that you kept everyone on their toes. She would get her scenes in 1 take and maximum 2. That kept everybody on their toes. I loved when I heard that. I was just, you don't know how long I've been wanting to speak to you, and for this movie to come out and to just see you in your glory, you and Lee. I mean, so proud finally that my brother is getting the recognition that he truly deserves.
He does. And I have to just say thank you to you, because anybody watching this, we're having this conversation now, but you have been supportive. I remember, you know, it's funny, my mother and I were just talking about this, because the play, you know, Lee was, we went to the play that Lee had invited us to for that young
kid. I
play.
remember.
The play was amazing. And my mom, I remember, my mom leans over to me. You were sitting right next to her, and she just like didn't want to look at you the entire time, because she was like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. And my mother leans over to me. She was like, and my mother, when I tell you, oh my God, Miss Campbell, she's not unfazed, like sort of in an arrogant way. She's just, my mom was just, she just grew up different. So she just sort of is, you know, very sort of calm and, you know, like the opposite of her crazy artist daughter, you know.
Grounding.
You turned to the right and she looks over at me. She said, oh my God, Naomi Campbell is sitting right next to me and she looks perfect. I was like, yeah, she always looks like that. You grabbed it.
It was a really great play. Well, please send my regards to your mom.
Oh, I definitely will. And she sends hers.
And I would have loved to have met her.
You were so warm and kind the entire time. And I remember meeting you at the Vanity Fair party, even then too. And you just were like, I love you. And I just remember thinking like, wow, she is just.
You have a special something that draws you, and you are extremely talented and you're original. And I love, and I'm drawn to authentic, original people. I love creative. I'm not going to, you know, I think everybody knows that about me. And I love and I will support and I will sing the praises as long as I can.
Thank you.
Do you know how many women, girls wanted your role?
You know what's funny? I actually didn't. I don't know. That's so funny. That conversation really never came up. You know, I think I knew about like one other person who I love, you know, so I was so insecure and so nervous. I think Lee probably didn't talk to me about them because he was like, no, she's going to do that thing where she tries to convince me to use them instead. Because
but that's a rare actress, don't it? No, most actors would not do that. Even thinking like, I want that role.
Yeah, yes, of course. And I totally understand. It was just like, you know, I don't know. I was so, you know, listen, I see it in everything that you do. Like, it is very clear to me you work so hard and are so dedicated and want everything to be perfect. I assume that based off of everything I've seen from you and admired and have been inspired by. But I feel like if I have this, I'm like, oh, I was just so nervous about being terrible. I did not want to be terrible. So I was like, okay, I told him when he told me I got the role, I remember saying to him, I said, that's amazing, but are you sure, like, you went through kind of the whole, he was like, girl, just show up to set, please, and just do the script.
I want to start at the beginning. What was the best advice you've ever been given, and who gave it to you?
The best, actually, I'm very clear about this. It was my parents who gave me this advice. I mean, both of them gave it to me in different forms, but My mother and my father, first of all, I had a praying mother. So my mother's advice was always trust God in everything. You know what I mean? And my father's advice was to never let fear dictate your moves. Never operate from a place of fear. Never let fear decide for you. You know what I mean? You'll be scared sometimes, but don't let fear make your decisions for you, and dictate how you interact with people, you know? And that was, I didn't realize how much I needed that advice before I started in everything, the music, the movie, you know, and I kept that in my head because there were so many moments I wanted to say no to such great opportunities, and I'm glad I didn't. But in the midst of fear, he really taught me, just say yes. You know what I mean? Just say yes and then go, like, and you will be blessed. And so it was my parents really that gave me that best advice.
Okay, we call it nervousness, we call it fear. How did you use that nervousness to get you over to go into this role of just diving right into it? Because what would get you over the mountain, so to speak?
So first, just in myself, prayer is a huge thing for me. I'm a deeply spiritual person, and prayer was a huge thing for me. And, you know, I can be scared of something, but when I have a peace about something, that's when I know, like, okay, you're just going to have to go and you're going to have to do it. Because I had a peace. The other artistic part of it and the work part of it was really, Tasha really taught me, you know, I'm just so nervous, use it. And that concept was, you know, as people, we try to compartmentalize everything so that we can be healthy, we can move on, and we can. So she really taught me how to be so present and how to use everything. And so she said, well, how do you think Billie felt? And I'm like, yeah, I guess she probably, you know, even though she was defiant and she was probably scared all the time. She had the government going after her. You know, she had abusive husbands. She never felt good enough, you know, when she was on stage.
And that's one of probably the reasons why she numbed her pain.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so Tasha reminded me, Billie felt the same way you feel right now. So she helped me so much to take that energy and to inform Billie Holiday. And I felt it. And even in moments where I was just chilling with my band and, you know, in certain scenes where we were just calm and relaxed. And I could feel, you know, when you have that underlying feeling, there's such a sense of urgency there, which I really feel like helped to inform the character and the role and in the movie and her story, you know.
What was great was that you would feel that you were comfortable in Billie, but then twist to this vulnerability.
Yeah.
And you just be like, and it was just so smooth. I can't wait for everyone to see this movie. I just can't. But what was it like when you were in the studio actually doing her songs? How was that for you?
That's great. That's actually the only, I've done so many interviews and no one has asked me that question. So thank you for that. Because as a musician, that's exciting to answer that. But I think, yeah, it was, you know, it was gratifying and it was heavy too. I was very, you know, I think this is probably when my nerves started to really peak, you know, and the discomfort started to peak, but also she had started to get really entrenched in me because I started auditioning and preparing and really trying to transform into her at the end of 2017. I got at the top of 2018 and we didn't start doing the music and preparing the film until August of 2019. So I had been in her headspace for quite some time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's
right.
And so going in, it was, you know, there was definitely a nervousness because I'm like, okay, now we're going to the music side, and the music as a musician, as a jazz singer is huge for me. I was like, this has to be accurate, and this has to be innovative, because one of the things I kept saying was what made Billie Holiday so amazing was that she was an innovator. We're used to hearing her music now, and we're used to hearing this. But when she was doing it, it was new. She was like the epitome of cool, you know? And so it was, so I wanted to make sure that the music reflected that naturally. And Salam Remy did an incredible job of that. You know, Lee with his direction, even on the music, did an incredible job. And then the other part was the vulnerability. You know, it was just, it was, you know, it was the first time I was really singing her music, which I've done before. It was the first time I was singing it, feeling the weight of her life, which I guess ultimately everything she had gone through, and which I guess ultimately was the weight of my own life and all of these, you know, and just bearing sort of down on me. And so that was it honestly helped me to usher into deeper preparation for filming. It was an amazing experience.
It's going to be a Black Oscars this year. It may not be physically be able to be there, but it's a Black Oscars. I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness.
And I said, and it's really, and I don't want people to get confused and think, oh, because it's Black Lives Matters and it's going to be, no, it's not. It's just the work. The work speaks for itself, and that's just the way it goes.
I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad, because I can feel that hint of people being like, yeah, it's just really trendy to do Black. No,
it's not a trend. We're not a trend. We are not a trend, girl.
Absolutely. And the talent, you know, this is what, you know, this is what we do. And I think for the first time, people are trying to see,
we
like,
don't want people to feel they're just giving it because they have to.
Right. This is affirmative action.
Is good and right. And
absolutely.
Precise.
Absolutely. Exactly. And that's what happens. And I think you're seeing people being like, wow, yes, people of color do drive the box office. Women drive the box office. These stories drive the box office. And so, and music and culture. And so I just feel like it's not a time thing. It's a revelatory thing. Like, oh, finally, you know, that we've worked so hard.
You just even said it, and women.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Absolutely.
But I just also feel, people want to know today more than ever authentic stories. People want to know the truth as much as we can know the truth.
Right.
And Billie is not here to speak it for herself. And she's owed that because the way it was left was she was an addict.
Yeah.
An addict that was, and so what? I'm a recovering addict. It's like that doesn't define who you are as a person.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And also, I think as a society, we don't know how to deal with addiction and don't understand it as an illness. It is an illness, and it is based out of trauma. I think that it's been so long.
It's a serious illness. I tell you something, Andra, would definitely, to be an addict right now with what's going on in the world is not the time.
Wow. Yeah.
I think every night I feel like when I say a prayer and I hit the floor morning and night because I have to be grateful for my recovery. I say for the addict that's still out there, which is something we say in our meetings when we're physically in our meetings, because it is really not the time. But and it's just, you know, you got mental health, and then now to have addiction. What did you do through the pandemic? Where were you this whole time? And again, for the second lockdown.
You know, it was right on the heels. The pandemic happened right on the heels of the filming, because we had finished December 9th of 2019 and then came back here. And I was, at the time it almost, you know, it was difficult, but also kind of helpful that I had time to maybe stay put, because I was really struggling, honestly, to leave set. I did not want to leave the movie. I did not want to leave Billie Holiday. I didn't want to leave Lee. I didn't want to leave my cast. I didn't want her to leave. You know, she felt good in here, our spirits commingling. And I asked God for her, and I believe she was there. And so, but the pandemic really, one of the things I wanted to do was, like, I had time to spend with my family, to spend with my mother, you know, take care of my young cousins, who's basically like my, not biological, but my child. And so it was, I had time to spend with family. But the other thing that we did during the pandemic was, we're just trying to, I feel like we can get so caught up in, like, this is horrible, what's happening, without realizing, you know, a lot of people are in a much worse place than I am right now. So I was just, I shifted, and I just remember to say, okay, like you said, on my knees every night, every morning, thanking God, remembering what I have, and now saying, okay, how can I be used? Like, how can we serve people? How can we? So we did do a few things. We connected with this charity called Give Directly during the pandemic, and they have been amazing. So I released a song called Make Your Troubles Go Away, and all the proceeds go to this organization. But what I loved about them was that, you know, I just feel like in this time of the middle of a global pandemic, it's so difficult. People are like, what do people need? They need money. People are struggling financially right now. I'm seeing people on the streets that are newly homeless, and they just look disheveled and terrified about their new circumstance. So what I loved about them is, it's not a ton of money, but it's $1,000. And when you have nothing, and I have had nothing in my life, $1,000 might as well be $1 million, because you know, if you don't have two pennies to rub together, then that's a lot of money. So, and sometimes it helps decide. Families are deciding between food, and they're deciding between shelter right now for their kids. And so what I love about them, there is no red tape. You sign up, they're sending you $1,000. And I was just blown away by the ease and the care. They weren't saying, we need you to dictate to you what to do with $1,000. They're saying, you keep your dignity.
Is this based in California?
They're all over. They're all over. So they work a lot here. They work a lot in Africa as well too. And
what's their name?
It's called Give Directly. And so we started the charity with them, #I Give Directly. And so the goal was to put $1,000 into the hands of 100,000 families. And these testimonials from these people, I think you forget how much that can really move the needle for people. And there was just so many testimonials of people crying and being able to feed their kids. And so I love it because there's no red tape. You don't have to qualify for anything. It's just sign up. And it's your situation, let's send it, And so that was one thing that really helped me through the pandemic, was just to remember, like, okay, we're designed and we're here to serve. So let's do that. Let's serve, That was a big thing for my family and I during that time.
When will we be hearing next album?
I was like, it's coming. No,
it's coming.
No, actually, I'm still. Oh, thank you for bringing this up, because I didn't get to talk about this, but the next album is actually coming very soon. So we're finishing up everything this week. I'm really excited about it, and it's funny because you will definitely hear a bit of Billie Holiday's DNA on this record, because while we were making it, I was in her headspace, and so. But the first single off the album is also the end title song to the movie called Tigress and Tweed. And when I tell you, I'm a typical artist, like Erykah Badu says, I'm sensitive about my shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but this song is my favorite thing I have ever written in my life. Any poetry, anything that I've written, any song. And it really felt like it was a prayer, but it was just a flip on Strange Fruit. I wanted to, once I understood what I believe God wanted to do in the song, it was flipping Strange Fruit on its head. We're no longer a tragic fruit hanging from a tree. We are a healthy, well-educated, smart, strong, I say brolic fruit. You know what I mean? And sometimes for some people, when we are sitting so beautifully in our freedom, we're an intimidating fruit. You know what I mean? And so you let us get right. We were hanging up there, but we're not there anymore. And that's why I want to see
if they have to find all those ways to kind of stop and
honestly
detract and
exactly
something must be intimidating.
Exactly. And and this is what Lee calls it. Lisa and I agree with this, because that's what I wrote it as, is that Billie Holiday was letting everyone know what was going on. And with Tigress and Tweed, I want to call it's a call to arms. And I know that sounds scary.
Tigers. And when would be the first release of
Tigress? Oh goodness, I wish I knew this.
Tigers and Tweed said what's the title?
It's called Tigress and Tweed. And I named it that because
and Tweed.
Yes, Tigress and Tweed. And it's named that because I was thinking about how we're strengthened by our ancestors, right? I was thinking when the scent of our ancestors and their fight is in the air. And I thought, what's Billie Holiday's scent? And her favorite two perfumes were Tigress and Tweed. And so that's the name of it. She is the fighter that is motivating and behind this song. So I'm really excited for everyone to hear it.
Tigress and Tweeds coming up, folks.
Yes.
Everyone, we got to get that. Download. And Hulu, United States versus Billie Holiday. Download.
Yep, February 26th.
Andra, I want to know everything you're doing. You are a huge songwriter, and you've written for lots of other people that we all know. And I don't know if people do know that about you, that you are, folks. Andra is a very huge songwriter. Right. Will you go back to writing for others, or is it just now some me time?
I think, that's a good way to put it. I think I am definitely sort of in a bit of a me time space, and I think just because I feel very, very zeroed in, very focused on everything that we're doing with Billie, and more than just that is her message and the greater message, the broader message about the movie. And with the album, and I think I do want to sort of like, I do feel like in this season, it's like, all right, there's something I have to say and there's something I want to complete. But I also am in a space though of, I will be moving into writing. I don't know how to, I want to get with a actual great screenwriter, but I am writing stories for film as well too. So
That's
I'm
wonderful.
really, yeah,
Of course you can. You right. Your imagination's already there from what you do. It's just an natural extension, don't you think?
Thank you. Yeah, I do. I do think that the
Yeah.
creative spirit really flows in and out of a lot of different places in different seasons. I agree. That's
Now
perfect.
you know that I've told Mr. Daniels, our beloved Lee. I said, Lee, this film, you have to bring it to Africa, and you need to come and bring it yourself.
Absolutely.
And you need to come and just explain to people about the film. You and Andra, you need to bring the cast, and you need to come and do a Q&A and present it on the African continent. It's very important.
Yes.
This one, I know there's a pandemic, but there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely. We can be super safe in the middle, but I am the same exact way, because this movie is not just for us, but it is by us and because of us. And that is why, you know, and because of Africa, you know, and I really feel like, to me, and that's something Lee and I spoke about in the beginning as well too, you know, it's not, oftentimes, especially in Hollywood, you sort of get like, okay, we want to make sure we give a nod. Like I hear the word nod to essence or nod, but I'm like, but essence is the essence. We Black people are the essence. They are the alpha and the omega of this movie, you know, so it's not, they're very much a part of this story and narrative just as much as the cast actually on set was. So I'm actually so glad to hear that you were like lobbying for that, because I'm the same way on this side. And I'm out there.
I've been lobbying for him to come for a while, and then I'm just like, every time I've spoken about it to people, my friends in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Kenya, they're like, Senegal, they're like, can Mr. Daniels come now? Can we bring him now? Yeah. So, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that, and you know, it's funny actually that you say that, because even on the music and the touring front, you know, one of the things I told them with this album cycle, I was like, you know, we started working on it early, and then I had to focus on the movie. But now they're really making a move to do that. But I said, you know, to me, I don't want to do the other huge part is on this next album. I don't want to do the typical tour run, you know, because I feel like, think about the time that there's different venues that are typical tour venues in different countries all over the world. And I said, to me, it's a shame that we really, truly never go and saturate Africa. This is an epicenter of music, culture.
And I don't understand why.
Yeah, and I'm like, you guys, they love music, they consume. Stop acting like everybody there has no access to technology or to music or to consume music and art. Stop. Like it's 2020. So that was a huge thing for me, even on the touring side. And then when it came to the movie, that was the same thing. I was like, you know, I want a tour, and I want whatever it is we do promo wise focused and saturated in countries like Africa and in countries like Brazil.
Well done on you saying that, because it's really important. And that's basically how I look at things too these days. I'm like, well, if I'm doing this, is it going to be distributed there? Because if it's not, I'm not so interested.
It's exactly how I feel, because they're like, exactly, they're going to consume it. And so I you know, it was a huge sort of, I hate to use the word linchpin, but that was a huge point for me. You know, that was, so I'm so happy to hear you say that, you know. Now I'm going to be on my end today. I'm like, you heard her say it, so make sure it happens.
I mean, can I ask you, will you act again?
This is actually the good.
Don't do what Bjork did. Bjork
did
one movie, and actually came round. I actually got to see her after she won her Palme d'Or, and she never acted again. You don't do that to us, are you?
It was like, you're not gonna Bjork, or are you? I was like, at first, I was just like, I don't know if I'm gonna. I was like, I'm retired. I'm definitely not doing this again. I will make movies as far as like co-directing, co-writing, co-producing, but now that I've had time to sort of, you know, unwind and one of my co-stars, Tyler Williams, who is, oh my God, so wonderful. He's my brother and so talented. But he was telling me, he was like, you know, give yourself an even longer break in this time, because I can tell you, as an actor, usually we have a good period of normalcy to come out of a character, but you went right from that into a pandemic, you know, so just understand it's not always like this, you know. So I says, okay. And then I had some scripts had come in, and, you know, there was one thing I was auditioning for, and like, And they narrowed it down to myself after a long period of time, myself and this other girl, which I ultimately didn't get, which was a blessing and answer to prayers. But I kind of caught the bug when I was doing that. I was sort of like, actually, I thought maybe it was just a fluke, and maybe it was, you know, only Lee. But Lee saw my audition tape for this other thing, and he was like, no, it's not a fluke. Like it's in you, you know. So I said, yeah. And so I think I am going to do a few more. And also, you know, honestly, Naomi, I have. You
are not going to be a one-hit wonder. Do you hear?
No. Also, and you know what motivated me too, thinking about it, is that I used to hear on set, people would say, you're never going to do another role like this. I promise you won't be like this again, because, you know, there's not really meaty roles for Black women. And that really triggered me in a way that I was like, well, who in the world would have meatier roles than us? You know what I mean? Who in the world has seen more than we have, shouldered more than we have, you know, triumphed more than we have, and fought for everyone the way we have? So and there's also, again, like I said, Black stories, especially in America, but all over the world, Black stories have been really done away with. Suppressed,
pushed down, not important, don't need them.
And flat out lied about. And flat out lied about.
And written in a way that's just not, you know, truthful. But exactly. I feel like that for sure has come to a change. That's done with.
Yes.
I feel like people want to know their ancestry, their history. They have the right to know.
Absolutely.
And so now I believe you're going to be seeing from all over the world, young filmmakers, the new generation, the young generation, Generation Z. They want to know what's really what now.
Exactly.
You know, so this is why I feel like this is such an exciting time.
Yeah,
this is why I like to say the word exciting. I hate when they say exciting on the Real Housewives. I like when they say exciting about life. This is an exciting time.
I don't like when they say it over there, but when we say it on, you know, No Filter, we're good.
Yeah. This is where we're going to witness these changes in our lifetime.
It is.
Know? And for all the upheaval that we're going through, and we're going through upheaval, but as much as we can see those shitty, crazy things happen, like last week in the United States of America, we're going to see some amazing thing happen. Yeah. I do believe that.
And we're taking up, that's what I love about it. We're not waiting on people to tell us this is good enough, this is worthy, we're putting it out there. And that's what makes me so happy.
No more waiting.
No more. I'm looking at it.
I mean, but authorized by whom?
Right. we don't need it. So just come and enjoy. Just come and enjoy the party once we put it out. You know what I mean? And that's why I want to continue, because I want to continue to uncover Black stories.
You have to continue. You are a blessing. Your instruments, your artistry. You cannot just come and do one and leave us. People are going to want more. And they're just going to be so thrilled for you. The world's going to be thrilled for you.
Thank you.
And I say, will you reprise the role in any way? Will you perform Billie somewhere, something? I know it's during the pandemic. But
yeah, I think so. We're actually talking. Oh, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but there might possibly be. Terry's probably going to kill me, but I'll deal with that later. But you know, we might possibly do like a Carnegie Hall sort of tribute thing. You know, but
wonderful.
Yeah, I'm really.
You heard it here first.
Yes, you did. You really did.
that would be perfect. You know why? Take it back home 360. Yeah,
absolutely.
Because it wasn't that where the police put a human chain to stop her from singing Strange Fruit.
That's where it was.
Take it right back home.
Exactly. And I want to, you know, do her music and incorporate her and music now, you know, I in a way that is just so beautiful, so soulful, so powerful, so Black, so feminine, you know, and just and I want people to be able to enjoy it. I feel like it would be a really full circle moment for her legacy. You know, I'm excited, definitely.
I totally agree. I don't think you're going to have a problem with people knocking at your door and sending you tons and tons of scripts. I don't think you're going to have that problem at all. Andra, I know you're busy and you're doing your press junket and for Billie. And I just want to say thank you so much for fitting in No Filter. I was just like, please, can we get us in? Can we get us in? I know that
I
Your
lost
star
it when
is
they
so
told me.
bright, and I'm so truly, truly happy for you. And I really cannot wait for the world to get to see what you did. You brought an essence. You weren't trying to be, you just were you, but the essence is what you did. The essence was so amazing. And
Thank you.
I mean, I don't know if Lee told you, I just bawled and bawled and bawled. When I came out, I couldn't speak. I looked him in the eyes. I couldn't speak. I just held him like this and just cried in his chest.
Oh my God.
It was.
And I have to tell you, first of all, when they told me that you wanted to be on the show, I was like, I don't care what we have going on tomorrow. This is where I want to be. And first of all, because I'm truly, truly a huge fan, I really do admire you. You've inspired me a lot. But beyond that, I was like, she really cares about the movie. I was like, I want to do this so much because this will be a conversation with someone who cares about the movie, cares about Billie, cares about Lee, and is just passionate about our story. So I can't thank you enough for being so supportive.
No, I'm so grateful and blessed, and I thank you. And Andra, I wish you the world. The world is your oyster.
Thank you.
And I'm so grateful. God bless you. Please say hello to your mom.
Yes,
we'll do. Hello to your mom. And thank you for being on No Filter.
Thank you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. God bless you.
Lady Andra Day. Yes. Get used to hearing this name. Get used to it. Have your tissues ready, because it's a journey, but it's a beautiful journey. And we really now will understand what our legend, iconic queen, Billie Holiday went through. Thank you for watching this episode. Please like this video and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Brown Girls out. Our last show in Kenya.